Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
We are now joined by Hillary Saffran. She is a therapist, I should say, and under the name is Hillary Saffran. Again, HILLARYSAFFRAN.com. We're talking about transformational therapy, coaching. She does it all, including hypnotherapy. Let's welcome our friend Hillary to the show and get to know her today. How are you?
Fine, thank you. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Pleasure to have you here. By the way, where are you based out of?
Palmer, Alaska.
Beautiful. Never been, but I'm dying to come visit.
Very pretty place.
And is it a misnomer? Everyone's going to say it's cold there. Is that true?
Yeah, and there's long winters, but it's still very nice. I'm from New York originally, to let you know, but the winters back east seem more bitter. They go
Wow.
right through you because of the humidity.
Interesting. Well, can
Yeah,
I ask
yeah.
where in New York are you from?
Born in Brooklyn and went to Nassau Community in Hofstra, and
Oh my
so
gosh,
grew up
wonderful.
and then lived in Queens and grew up in Long Island.
Beautiful. Yeah. I live in Holtzville now from Farmingville. I lived in Whitestone, worked in the city, went to Suffolk Community College. So we got a lot to talk about and good to get to know you because to start off, I mean, obviously as a coach and as a therapist, I want to get to know you as a person. So this was a great start. I was going to ask where you're from, tell me about your journey and what brought you here. So we kind of already started down that route. So do you want to, let's continue. Long Island, New York gal. How did you come out and decided you want to do this?
I had been working in Manhattan right after college. I was a journalism and communications major at Hofstra, and then I worked in Manhattan, had a lot of receptionist jobs, and then I had an opportunity when I was 25 to go to Seattle, to go to the West Coast, and I was kind of antsy, and
Yeah.
so I figured, sure, it's an adventure, and then I ended up staying in the West Coast, for the rest of my years,
Mm-hmm.
and Seattle, and I had lived, like 2 years in California, came back to Seattle, and then eventually ended up in Alaska, and some years in Colorado, but I'm in Alaska now the last 13 years. It's a beautiful place.
Amazing. Can't wait to visit. So let's talk about the work you're doing now. And clearly, as a hypnotherapist and as a coach, you're helping so many. So guide us through that process, and we'll talk specifically about the work and the benefits of it as well.
Yes. Well, I've been working in social work in that field for over 20 years.
Wow.
And my job at the time was always to work with the welfare population. So I've been an employment specialist helping people who have been going through
Oh.
adverse circumstances. That's why they apply for public assistance to begin with, to get employment. And then I realized there's a lot of coaching involved, a lot of motivational interviewing. And then I would come across some clients who would say, I can't work. And I would say, why? Because you've signed up for a time limited work program. And they would say, well, I have anxiety. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So if you are going to a counselor, how's that working? Oh, fine. And I take medication. And how long, I would ask, have you been going to counseling? 16 years and no change. So I saw this a lot. And I
Yeah.
thought to myself, and I was, you know, entertaining the idea of becoming a counselor or therapist. But I didn't like the idea of, I mean, there's nothing wrong with other therapies. Everything has its place and everything has value. But a lot of talk therapy is just, oh, so you're going through this hard time. And how do you feel about that? I'm thinking, let's get some solutions and
Yeah.
change your life. So I came across rapid transformational therapy training. And I
What's her name? Who invented that? Was it Melissa?
Peer.
Yes,
Peer.
Marissa. That's it.
Marissa Peer. She has been a therapist for over 33 years, and she was trained in hypnotherapy, but really gets to the root. It was a wonderful training, and you're always training, you're always learning and always growing. I found it fascinating because you get to the root of an issue,
Mm-hmm.
why you believe
Yeah.
certain beliefs, and then you can reframe them and change them. And hypnotherapy, just going to put it out there, it's not stage therapy. You don't cluck like a chicken. You really are in total control of yourself the whole time. What hypnotherapy is, it's getting a client into a relaxed state, similar to the state you'd be if you're praying or meditating or just being quiet.
Yeah.
Stress relaxation exercises are very similar. You close your eyes, you breathe deeply, and you're still, but you're aware. You're very aware. It's like a sleep of the nervous system. You're not asleep, and you are in total control the whole time. So
Yeah.
it's not like someone has control over you. Not true. You are, the client is in control, but you're presented with how you've been suggestible or receptive to certain belief patterns most of your life. And a lot of people don't think about what they're thinking about.
True.
They are not aware of their thoughts.
You're right.
So a lot of this is a reframing
Oh,
of
yeah.
negative, destructive thoughts.
Even like the times we're driving, right? And you don't realize how you got
Yes.
there. Same type of thing,
Yes.
right?
Your body, you become in a hypnotic state when you're in autopilot, where you say, wow, how did I get here so quick? You were in like a hypnotic state in a sense when you're autopilot. So yeah, it's a very effective form of a therapeutic method that gets people to their root and then has change. Because why are people going to therapy? They should want a change in their life, a presenting problem that they want to fix, or else you're wasting your time. And then coaching, I
Yeah.
feel, is very important because therapy deals with the past. Coaching deals with the future. So let's say you had an issue, a presenting problem, and we worked on it, and now you totally understand why you believe this way. When you were 4, this event happened, blah, 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 and you understand the root. But then you have to take action steps to work on yourself. And that's where coaching comes in. So I believe both are a really great, effective way of having transformation for someone's life.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing the work you're doing and how you can help. And let's just remind everyone, give us the website and is there a contact number or social media page? How else can we find you?
Yes, it's hillarysaffran.com, and it's let me get that phone number.
No problem.
Because it's I had changed it to a different contact number that I can have a transcription, a Google Voice. So if someone calls me and leaves a message, then I would be able to read it. So it's hillarysaffran.com, HILLARY, S as in Sam, A, F as in Frank, F as in Frank, RAN. And the phone number is 973 346 2663.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right, let's continue about the work you're doing. What else did you want to add?
Basic, and then there's, you could also schedule an appointment, but basically, I find it a very, very effective way of really helping someone. So for example, let's say for weight loss. Now, people, there's an expression, it's not what you're eating, it's what's eating you.
Yeah.
So many times people might have some bad habits, but usually there's a root cause. So I just want to emphasize it's important to understand why you have certain behaviors or thought patterns, but we have an expression, knowledge is power. Once you understand something, the light bulb goes on, but then you can take constructive action and change anything. People don't realize that they're really, really in charge of their lives. And thoughts become feelings. It's not feelings first. Your thoughts become feelings, which become your actions and your events. So people don't realize how much power they have over their own life and outcomes. And I think it's very empowering to give people tools for effective change and for a happier, more fulfilling lives. And that's what it's all about.
Amazing. I love it. And by the way, if you go to the website, you can read more about her. But I love how you say, be your best now. You will show us, how hypnosis can work and train us. And that's my biggest thing. I was going to ask you about this anxiety, right? Because since the pandemic and COVID, everyone has stress.
Right.
Everyone's over anxious. There's a lot of loss. There's a lot of grief. There's a lot of
Yes.
angst. And how does that really help someone who is anxious? And could you kind of go over it? I mean, there's also so many other things I want to talk about, from like weight loss,
Yeah.
stopping to smoke, chronic pain. I know hypnosis can do a lot. So I'll guide you first with the COVID question and anxiety.
Yeah. Because of the pandemic and all the isolation it produced,
Yeah.
mental health issues have skyrocketed with
Mhm.
isolation, anxiety. Um, so many mental health issues have happened because of the pandemic. So people need to feel connected. That's how human beings are wired. And there was a lot of connection lost. Now, I want to emphasize that I do work mostly over Zoom. So this is global. What I do is global for English speaking people or English
Yeah.
speaking countries. So I've been, so I'm working with another associate. She's in New Zealand, different time zones, but it's effective for anywhere you are. So if a person is isolated in their home, they can still
Wow.
have this effective therapy and coaching from their Zoom, just like we're doing Zoom now. Zoom is really come forth.
Right. I mean, that's one benefit of COVID, right? There were so many negatives, but there was
Yeah,
some good that came
yeah,
out of it too. Really, there
yeah,
was.
yeah. Yeah, and so anxiety, there's, aside from practical exercises of breathing, you can really learn to do self-hypnosis too. And I teach clients how to calm down, how to have a different thought. There's audios I do after a session. So I would give a person a 16 to 20-minute audio that they listen to for 21 days, and that rewires and reframes a lot of their thought patterns. So for example, I recently had someone going through chemo and radiation. She was very anxious about that. And a lot of even cancer care or other disease protocols, you have to have a huge amount of self-love and
Hmm.
self-care. And it's your thought process, how to calm down, how to feel confident and positive about that. So most people don't realize how suggestible they've been all their
Hmm.
lives. I'm going to give you an example.
Sure.
So Jill, I'm giving you a lemon. I want you to pretend you're sucking on a lemon. Do you see that? You're
Oh,
talking.
I'm cringing. My whole body.
You're like, oh, the seeds. It's tart. That's how suggestible we are to
Oh, I
thought.
got goosebumps. Okay.
Isn't that incredible? And you didn't close your eyes. You didn't go through a whole thing. You just imagined a lemon.
Bam.
That's how suggestible thoughts are to everyone. Yeah, that's how the power of thinking and suggestion is. It's kind of incredible. So yeah, people have learned, they'll learn that, let's say, whatever the presenting problem is or the behavior, they're realizing that there's reasons they have thought a certain way, but many times the belief system is a lie. If a
Hmm.
person feels, there's three basic beliefs that all across the board, every culture, people, being human, has in common. People feel that they're not good enough, they're not
Yeah.
enough. Oh no, I'm not enough. Or it's not available to me. No, I can't have that relationship. I can't have that job. Not available to me. Everybody else, but not me. That's a very common thought, not available. And the third is people feel they're different. And the irony is, like, a lot of teenagers, they want to be a pack. They want to
Hmm.
all dress alike and they think they're being different, but that's the joke. One of a
Yeah.
teenager once told me, "Yeah, be unique like everybody else."
Yeah.
They're all the same. So people, they're afraid of being different, but everybody who feels that way is really the same because
True.
everybody feels different. We're all individuals with our own
Yeah.
fingerprints. So there's a lot of commonalities to the human condition. And then we address all that in a lot of these protocols. So it's just very fascinating work.
I mean, and there's like, I can't even tell you, maybe you could tell me how many hundreds of things can hypnosis help with? I mean, there's so many, right?
Everything. So many
Everything.
things: weight loss, quitting smoking, drinking, drugs, feeling you're not good enough. Oh, big one, imposter syndrome. So now this is a shameless plug. I
Hmm.
wrote a book recently. You can find it on Amazon, and it's on my website too. The Little Coach Engine That Could, because it stopped sabotaging itself. And that was, and I got an illustrator. It was designed after the little engine that could, because a lot of people have imposter syndrome. That's a big
Hmm.
one. People feel, oh no, if I have this new job, I'm here, but they'll find out that I really don't know anything. I'm an imposter. That is a very common issue that a
Yeah.
lot of people have. So we
Yeah.
deal with that, which is really confidence. So many things deal with confidence and anxiety.
Wow. And can you share some examples of the clients you worked with without using their names? But you mentioned
Yeah.
weight loss, you mentioned stopping smoking. Could you share a little bit about this with us and how the process works and how many sessions does somebody need? I don't know how individualized it is,
Yeah.
but go ahead.
Yeah, I have different packages. I have a 10 session packages with its combination therapy and coaching, but I really customize it. It's really individual. And the whole term rapid transformational
There.
therapy is
Hmm.
designed.
Oh, what happened to my camera?
Oh,
It
yeah,
popped
I was
off.
like,
Oh, it
influence
happens.
each
Oh,
other. Yeah,
energy.
it's real designed for like an hour and a half to 2 hour session that can really accomplish a lot. And so there, I start with an intake. What's the presented problem? If I had a magic wand, what do you want to fix today? And
Hmm.
people, there's an intake form, and people might have a lot of issues. And if you can join some together and make, one thing, but I deal with one big issue at a time. And then we go through the session, and then when I'm done, I'll give that person an audio recording,
Yeah.
which I'll email to them. They can
Okay.
download it on their phone. They listen to it before they go to sleep or when they're doing something.
Okay.
It's and then they listen to it, and then after 3 weeks, I'll give them another one, and I'll work. Really, it's very customized and individual. Um, uh, I recently had a client. She's an artist, fabulous artist, but there were some issues from childhood, so she didn't have much confidence in speaking up for herself and
Hmm.
having her voice, even though she was very, very talented and in a very healthy marriage. You still have issues that present themselves when
Yeah.
you're on a job, right? And
Mm.
other people might belittle you, and then you can't speak up. Things come out in everyday life, and we just deal with that in everyday life. So I do have customized packages, and then or one session. It depends what a person needs.
And what would you
And
say to someone out there? There's a lot of skeptics out there who think hypnosis or RTT, and they think it's that stage hypnosis type thing. You're going to make them walk like a
right,
duck and quack like a duck. Could you share?
right,
I mean, it is one of the misconceptions about
huge,
hypnotherapy, and yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. I find even if a person didn't go under hypnosis and they just wanted to talk, that's a regular therapy
Hmm.
session. However, I find, isn't it true, if you closed your eyes, and you're not even under hypnosis, but even if you closed your eyes, don't you feel more comfortable speaking about a personal issue? It removes distractions and you can concentrate. So hypnosis is just relaxing you a little more. And it's like you're imagining going down 10 steps, and I'd say, oh, and your eyes are glued shut, and then I show a person how suggestible they are. Like if you imagine you have uh, helium balloons on one arm, and the other has heavy cement, and then your arms will start to do this because you're very suggestible. And the whole thing shows you have perhaps believed, and suggestions that were given to you from when you were very young that were false. Like if you came from an abusive family, or you were told, oh, you'll never do this, you'll never succeed. People believe what they're told. A great example is a fabulous interesting story is on Edison, Thomas Edison. Well, this is from a new book I have coming out called Fill Your Glass with Gold, even when it's half empty or completely shattered. There's a story of Thomas Edison. He was 7 years old, sent home from school with a note to his mother, which said, "Your kid can, I'm giving up." The teacher gave up. She thought he was stupid and he should just be not ever return to public school. So Thomas Edison's mother, told him when he asked what the note said, she said, "Oh, it says you're a genius. You're a genius. And I can teach you better at home." And he believed that. Oh, it's a great story. And he took that belief on, and then he ended up with what is 1,000 patents, inventing the light bulb,
I
inventing
never
this.
knew that story.
Oh, it's a great story. It showed. Now, what if he was told, "Oh, she says you're hopeless and that you're stupid and I can't even teach you"? He would have
Oh,
never taken on the belief that he could accomplish anything. In fact, he became self-taught and absorbed science
wow.
and math. And yeah. Another story, Albert Einstein was told by a teacher that he was academically subnormal. But he was fascinated by science, and he didn't speak till he was 4. He was late in speech. And so his parents had him speech therapy. It was fascinating stories. So you take on a lot
Wow.
of beliefs that are told to you, and if they're negative beliefs, you will carry them with you throughout your life until you reframe those beliefs, or there's help in reframing those for you. So if you're told negative things, I have to tell you, Marissa Peer did come out with a book. I'm plugging her book, but it's called Tell Yourself a Better Lie. But isn't that true?
Yeah.
People tell themselves truths or lies, and a lot of the lies we tell ourselves are false beliefs that are not productive to our lives. So the whole basis of everything is really reframing what you believe about yourself, finding out the root cause of why you believe that, but then you get tools through the coaching and through the therapy and the coaching to reframe that and live a better life. But it's
Wow.
effort. That's why you have to listen to the recording for 21 days and work on your action steps. So, for example,
Wow.
if I deal with someone with weight loss, and I have had clients with weight loss, and 2 of them who had to lose over 100 pounds, they're still in the process, but they had to find out why they were eating. And a lot of that, it could be culture, food is comfort, food is social, or just drugging yourself, you know, um, numbing, like a drug, and then until you get better habits. But you really have to have better food choices. So that's an action step. So
I'm
yeah,
still shocked over this Thomas Edison story. I
isn't it
never
a great
heard that.
story?
That is
Yeah.
beautiful as a mom to protect
Yeah.
her son, let alone to teach us how positivity,
Yes,
manifestation, positive thinking can turn anyone's life around.
absolutely. Absolutely. They say, what you focus on and what your thoughts, that's who you are. There's, the quote, "As a man thinks, so he is." A whole movement has,
Wow.
of the personal development,
Yeah.
self-improvement, all that was based on that one verse. Actually, it's Proverbs 27:3. "As a man thinks, so he is." And Napoleon Hill took that and did as Think and Grow Rich. And there's so many things based on your thoughts. It's
Amazing.
fascinating stuff.
It really, really is. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. We still got, oh my gosh, only 3 minutes left in the show. How does that happen? It goes so quick.
Wow.
What else did you want to share?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, if you want to feel better and really work on yourself, then I'll give that phone number again, which is 973-346-2663. And yeah, you could also look on Amazon. I have products. But yeah, the little coach engine, that could, because it stops sabotaging yourself, is a fun read if people want to get that. And then I have my upcoming book, which I'll shamelessly plug later on. But otherwise, yeah, I've had a lot of fun here. I really appreciate your time.
No, thank you. Same here. So if someone does want to reach out to you, do you offer an initial consultation for
Yes,
them to see if
yes,
you're a good
yeah.
fit, vice versa, and can give them
Oh,
advice on what they would
absolutely.
need to break it down? So there's no obligation
Right.
there.
No obligation. And also, yeah, discovery call, there's no obligation. And if someone has a real adverse medical condition, always consult with your doctor. Always. I do not take the place of any medical provider. I'm an added blessing, an
Got it.
added help. But a medical provider is, everyone who has one should follow their advice.
Great. Well, thank you again for joining us, for being here again. It's HILLARYSAFFRAN.com. Can reach out to her there directly. And anything other form of contact you want to leave?
The HillarySaffran.com. There's a contact button on the website.
Perfect. Thanks again for being here, for joining us and enlightening us. And do we have another show coming up? Are you back again?
Yes, I have now. This was my TV podcast, but then we have in 2 weeks, I have 6 more.
Awesome. Looking forward to talking. Whatever topics you have, of course, cannot wait. I'm sure you'll have plenty. Hillary, thank you again. Have a great day. And to all of our listeners, thank you for joining us.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action. Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.